Hey Terror TV viewers, and welcome to Terror Talk. I'm Manji.
And I'm Kate, and we're here today with Jim Wilberger. He's a full-time producer for the Hallmark channel in LA, and most importantly is an alumni of McDaniel, formerly Western Maryland College. We are honored to have you with us in the studio today.
Thank you.
So tell us more about yourself. What did you major in when you were here, and did you always know you wanted to be a film producer?
No, I actually came here as a theater major and spent a lot of time in Alumni Hall, was in a lot of plays, and then, but there was one film course being taught at the time, which was also part of the theater department then, and I took that course and I just changed my mind about everything and decided I was going to pursue film.
So are you from Maryland? How do you end up in LA?
Yes, I was born in Washington, D.C., and I grew up in Maryland, Olney, Maryland, about 20 miles north of D.C., and after coming to school here, I floundered around a bit trying to figure out, how to pursue my career, and didn't do too well in D.C. I had actually done some film work here for a professor at the time who had set up he had a farm nearby, and he set up half of the milking barn as a little studio. So we had an editing room, and we had some film equipment, and we would shoot educational films for the deaf there that I did when I was a senior here.
So do you know ASL?
Do I know what?
American Sign Language?
I don't know it. I actually learned some because I was editing one of the films that was all done in sign language. So I ended up learning sign language for that particular piece, but that's all I know. That's all I knew. I don't think I know any of it now. But anyway, I went on from there and then I struggled a bit, but I ended up going to New York City, and in New York I started working on some film crews, but I knew I wanted to produce. I was pretty sure that was what I wanted to do. So from New York, I decided at some point I had to move to LA because I knew there was more opportunities out there.
Okay. What does your role as a film producer entail? What are the benefits and its perks and stuff like that?
Oh, you want to hear the good parts,
yeah.
not the bad parts. Well, there's lots of different kinds of producers, and but I'm actually in the credits. My credit is producer, not co-producer or executive producer. The producer is the one who's actually kind of in the trenches with the crew. I'm running the show basically. Co-producers or exec producers might be people who are attached to the script for some reason, or they raise the money for the movie, and but what I wanted to do is the nuts and bolts of production. So I start by doing a budget and a schedule for a script, and start to refine that, and then we start getting involved in casting, and when I get my budget approved, then I start to hire the crew and hire the cast, and then I follow the show all through production. I'm kind of the watchdog of the show to make sure we stay on track and on budget, and get all the coverage for the scenes that my bosses want us to get. Make sure the director is kind of on track, and if there's any problems that come up, I'm usually the guy that they go to and say we have a problem, and then I have to figure out how to fix it.
So what are the downsides of it?
Well, that's the downside. The downside is, you never know what to expect. I actually enjoy that part. Actually, it's when you get up and go to work in the morning, you don't know what's going to happen exactly. So you have to just be prepared for anything. And if an actress is upset at the director or at the makeup person, or doesn't like her wardrobe, or it's not always an actress either. It could be an actor too, believe me. But then I usually have to be the go-between that steps in and tries to clear up the problem. And there's a million things that can happen that you have to deal with, and so. But I enjoy that, and that's the challenge of the show.
Okay, and what are you working on right now?
I just wrapped a movie called This Magic Moment, which stars Diane Neal from the Law and Order SVU show.
Okay.
And it's a romantic comedy, and it's hopefully it's funny. It seemed funny at the time when we were shooting. It's not laugh out loud hilarious kind of comedy. It's kind of a lighter comedy with some drama in there, and kind of very typical fare for a Hallmark Channel. Okay. And it went pretty well. I think it's going to be a good show.
We know you hosted McDaniel students as interns over the summer in the past, such as Mohaddad and Yi Chong Lee, who are TV club members. Mm-hmm. Do you work directly with you, and what do you want them to take from the experience? Are you accepting applications for interns for this upcoming summer?
Okay, well, there's a lot of stuff there. Okay, first of all, yes, the internship is continuing. We do it every summer. We pick one person who can come out, and the unfortunate limitations are you have to have the money to get to LA. You have to have the money to get a car or rent a car so you can drive around if you don't drive there. And you have to find a place to stay. And we try to help people find a place to live, but you have to pay the rent for that. Perhaps sometimes crew members need a roommate or something, and we'll take the rent for a room or something. That's kind of the downside on it. It kind of eliminates it for a lot of people, unfortunately. But we want them to work on the set. Generally speaking, they usually work as a PA with the rest of the production assistants for the assistant director's department, which means they're involved in the production. And we want them to get that experience of what it's like to be on a real production with 50 crew members and 20 cast members, and working sometimes in a studio and sometimes on location. It's long days and it's hard work. It's not for everybody, but usually I think the experience is good enough that they get a lot out of it, and it certainly helps you to know if that's what you want to do in your life, because it's not for everybody, but the people who do it and like it really like it, are very passionate about it. So PAs, they also don't have to stay as a PA that way. It's like I always give people the option. In fact, Yi Chong Lee, who just did it and was very good, I thought, she towards the end of the show, she said, well, I want to spend a day with this department and that department. So she got to try out what would it be like if I was in the camera department? What would it be like if I was with makeup and hair? So, and we're flexible about that. We're happy to let people get the chance to try those things. So, and if they know coming in, I really want to be with the lighting department, then we can make them a PA or an intern of the lighting department if they want.
What advice would you give a college student who wants to break into the family film TV industry?
Well, I get that question a lot, and not just for my part of the business, but any part of the business, whether it's any kind of production. There's no set path. It's really, everybody has to kind of find their own way. I've told the faculty here that if any students want advice, that they can call me up about their particular situation or email me, and I'll be happy to discuss it with them. I try to come on campus at least once a year to talk to students if they want to talk, and it's usually better to start as a production assistant and just be on the set, but the other advice I get is take any job you can if it's involved with a production. The whole point is to just get started, and it may not be ultimately what you want to do, but if it gets you going and helps you to make contacts, then it's a good thing to do.
The TV Club has been working together to make original student content for the college to watch and be well informed. Sometimes coming up with ideas and executing them with so many conflicting schedules and a lack of inspiration is difficult. What advice would you give to the club? How did would you give to the club, and how do you handle that on a daily basis?
Wow. Well, I'm just getting familiar with the club right now, and I'm actually pretty impressed with all of you here and how you're handling the shows and everything. So that's pretty cool. I think everybody has moments where, you know, like creative moments where they can't figure out what they want to do, or they're not inspired or something. I don't know. I don't know. I have found for me, it's if I'm stuck, I just tell myself I'm going to sleep on it and see what comes up in the morning. And usually that, for me, that little trick works. But I mean, when you're working with other people trying to like collaborate on something, it's the collaborative process is what film production is all about, and TV production, and maybe even more in film than TV. You rely on people with wildly diverse talents. You got to have the makeup and hair department. You got to have the director of photography. You got to have the transportation coordinator. And they all have different skills, and then they all have to work together to make the show work. And so there's issues that come up all the time, and on a day-to-day basis. But I think it's just really interesting. The whole process is really interesting just because it is so collaborative, and it's like I can't go in and do the makeup. I may have to go in and talk to makeup because, you know, I don't like something about, you know, somebody's hair or something, you know, or maybe they're wearing a shirt that doesn't look right on camera or something for the wardrobe department. But I mean, if everybody's like happy to work together, that's really the main thing, is having that spirit of collaboration. And that's what I try to do on our shows, is to just let people do their jobs, you know, and just let us coordinate that way instead of trying to be a dictator and saying you're going to do it like this.
Okay, thank you for coming.
Oh,
Thank
thank
you.
you.